I owe, this can't be right, $35,369. I must have moved a decimal the wrong place. Anyway, let's file an extension, shall we? Why not? Why ruin a beautiful, sunny April 15th, Monday, with taxes. I'm sorry. Let's put our cash register or our adding machine away. Worry about your taxes another time. You know, I'll tell you. Let me straighten us out here. I see we're a little askew. That'll do it. I'll put my briefcase away, filled with useless receipts, hopefully to keep me out of prison another year. This is what I'm talking about. Everybody's too worried about, the taxes, paying. Take a break. You're probably stressed. I know I am. Look what it's come down to for me. I had to find a form here. I don't know if you could see. Other tax credits and taxes. So it seems here I once shoveled and raked. So I'm trying to write that off as farm equipment. The only problem is you have to own 25 to 50 acres of farmland that you are farming on, and apparently having to some kind of commodity that you sell to a commercial grocer. I fudged the numbers a little bit. I hope we don't have a lot of people from the IRS that watch the Steve Squared show, let's be honest. But there's a solar energy credit. I know I could serve a lot of energy. I have a bad temper, so sometimes it explodes. But there's always room to fudge a little bit here and there. We understand. We all go through it. I hope you all, you try to file. It seems here I can't claim the Empire State Child Care credit because it seems here I don't have a qualifying child. You first of all need a child. The child has to be of, it says here, human form. So I don't have that. Kermit does not qualify as a plant. Kermit's with us. I know everybody was panicked about Kermit, but I have Kermit. He's actually holding up the ring light for me. Although who needs it? Look at this gorgeous day. Sunny, beautiful outside after a windy weekend. Did you all blow in from the tumultuous weekend we had? What a wind out there. Blustery and cold. I went for a run and I was running against the wind. Thank you, Tom Petty. I think Tom Petty sang that song, Running Against the Wind. Maybe it was the other guy. But no, it seems here I don't have a qualifying child. I don't have farming equipment. I don't have some illegal stocks that I can write off as some kind of dividend earnings. I can't write it off against losses. I have nothing. Nothing. This is it. I'm at the deadline. It's April 15th. I actually went to, I did have to mail something at the post office related to my taxes today. And, it's not the same as the way it used to be because I have my accountant, which, by the way, let's face it, if you can reach your accountant today, good for you. And that's an accountant you should keep. It's very difficult to reach your accountant on tax day. I know I had little trouble. I had a question. So I bet so many people were, because, Googling, trying to figure what's going on. Because nobody gets in a mad rush and overwhelms themselves in a job more than accountants coming at tax time, right? They want to have so many clients and so many people, but they just don't have enough time for them. So it's it's like if I was training my clients and there's 24 hours in a day and I trained, and I train each one for an hour and I book 55 clients. And look, they want to make money. I understand. This is something I actually want to look up. And I have to do this during the show, so bear with me. I was having this debate with my mom. We had seen an episode of All in the Family where Archie was getting audited by a tax examiner. And they were referencing H&R Block. And I said, this show was in the 70s. There's no H&R. And I guess, let's see. I want to see when H&R Block was exactly founded. Any guesses out there? Not H&M. See, H&M comes up right away. You can see where everybody's... wow, it comes up. Do you have a guess? Anybody have a guess? H&R Block. July 1955 in Kansas City, Missouri. Look at that. That was H&R Block was founded by two brothers, Henry and Richard Block. Hence the H&R Block. Henry and Richard. Did you know that H&R Block stood for Henry and Richard? I'd like to tell you a lot of information on this show, except how to avoid getting audited. What year was H&R Block? But anyway, H&R Block was, and I couldn't believe that they were around this long and doing taxes. Now, these two brothers, maybe not as their founding of this company is probably not as humongous as the other brothers that might have done more. The Orville and Wilbur Wright, who invented popcorn. No. What did they invent? Oh, flying, of course. In a little land I like to call Kitty Hawk, North Carolina, when they started the air flight, right? The airplane. So it all depends what brothers are doing. They founded a tax company. Pretty interesting. So there you go. So the point is I try to reach. So I had a question. I had to mail something. I go down to the post office, and back in the day, before so much online activity, the post office on April 15th, they'd even show it on the news. It was such a sight, right? That was the big thing. You'd see all the procrastinators, the losers, the people that didn't do it. It's almost like comparative to Christmas shopping. Don't you hate those people? Oh, I did my taxes 3 months ago. Good for you. As opposed, it's like those Christmas shopper people. Oh, I Christmas shopped and wrapped and I'm done. And it's like late August. Is that what life's about? Just getting things done? No, you want to have that feel around the holiday time and shop around Christmas. You want to have that stressful time at April 15th where you're feverishly trying to call your accountant. They're ignoring your text. You're cursing them every name in the book. You're swearing up and down you're not going to use them next year. You're going to get another accountant. And what do? You use the same stupid accountant year after year. But my accountant, no, she's wonderful. She's a client of mine. She's fabulous. Look, I'm able to do the show, and I don't do it from behind bars. So that's a plus right there. But the post office, there was 2 or 3, 4 people in there. I mean, a little more of a line. But 3 or 4 people. It wasn't that, oh my God, don't go to a post office on April 15th. No. And actually, if they would have had 2 postal workers working, they would have, it wouldn't have been any line. So this is with 1 postal worker working. So, it wasn't a big deal. There was no crazy line or anything like that. And look, to be honest, I know you need to file. April 15th is the big deadline day. If you file tomorrow, you're probably not going to prison. If you pay, the IRS is so backed up, and they're still doing people's returns from 1957, especially H&R Block. You think those 2 guys can do everybody's taxes? Of course not. Anyway, how's everybody doing on this Monday, this tax Monday? Boy, there's nothing worse than Monday and taxes. It goes together like Sodom and Gomorrah, and I don't even know what that is. Anyway. Oh, come on. Let's go here. Let's get. You want to get started? Let's get started. I gotta. You think I would. I'm such a mess today. Again, it was a lot of getting ready for the big. And this I want to go through with you. This is some information I want to help you with. But let's. Before we help you with that. What a weekend for the New York Knicks. There it is, at their best. The great Jalen Brunson, number 11. The New York Knicks win 50 games. They won their 50th game yesterday, last game of the season. What a game, overtime. They win by a point over the Chicago Bulls. Jalen Brunson is amazing, goes for 40. What a season. 50 wins. The Knicks now wait to see who they will play, either the Miami Heat or the Philadelphia 76ers. They will play one of those two teams in the first round of the playoffs, and that will either begin Saturday or Sunday. You never want to say, "Oh, I hope we play them," or "I hope we play," because it always, anything I've ever hoped for in life has always come back to bite me, literally. So I've given up hope. Let's say that. I'm not hoping for things anymore. Because I've always hoped, year after year, I'm always hoping. And, maybe you should just not hope anymore. And maybe something will change. Remember in the Seinfeld where George did everything opposite and things started working for him? I'm giving up hope. Because I've always hoped, and here I am. Drinking a warm Celsius on tax day. But seriously, reach out to the Steve Square Show if you have any tax questions. By all means, I can help you out here, because we have some tips right here for avoiding tax scams this season. So let's go through a couple of these. The IRS, they will only contact you via mail. You'll only get that dreaded Internal Revenue Service letter in the mail. They won't knock on your front door. If somebody knocks on your front door and says they're an IRS agent, don't open. They won't text you and say, "Hey, this is Johnny from the IRS. Can I have your bank account, Social Security, and credit card numbers, please?" They do not. They will not email you or otherwise. So if you're getting an email, a text, or something strange, don't just ignore it. Only a letter. It will only come a letter, official letter. That's it. Scammers don't take the time to do letters. They just text you. What else can you do? You can always contact the IRS. It's a 1-800 number, 829-1040. Get it? The 1040 for the return. Be wary of immediate demands. Scammers often create an immediate call to action. Threaten you with arrest, bankruptcy, deportation, even if you're from here. You could be from here and they'll just call you up and say, "You want to be deported? I can make that happen. Or we could take care of this." No, that's probably not. They will go after people that are English deficient, which is pretty much most of Long Island. So, yes. Think twice about clicking on a link. If you see strange links, don't click on it and open it. I say this all the time. If you don't know, don't click there. It's just that clickbait. It annoys me. Yeah, same thing. Yeah, IRS agents are assigned, they will, and actually, an IRS agent always will give you, when they talk to you on the phone or anything else, if you call and talk to get somebody on the phone, and you're not sure, is this or it might reach the real, they will always give you their IRS identification code number. So if somebody's just like, "Yeah, this is Frank," no. They have to give you a specific identification code, subject only to the IRS, and I won't tell you what it is, because if we have a lot of scammers that listen to the Steve Squared Show, a lot of frauds, a lot of IRS evaders, so I don't want to give away any tips or otherwise. But that's what I would say. Always watch out for crooks. They're always out there scamming. They're always out there scamming. You know, I tell you about the Knicks, and we found out O.J. Simpson passed away, right, this weekend. And I thought of this strange paradox, that when the whole O.J. Simpson trial was going on back in, I think it was 1992 or 4. I'm getting those 2 years confused. It was one of the 2 years. When that whole Bronco chase broke out, when O.J. Simpson was driving the Bronco, which, by the way, was an incredible ad for the Bronco truck, which never really made it big. Only the sales went up a little bit after that when they saw what kind of mileage that Bronco got. They went for miles and never had to stop for gas, which I thought was interesting. But what had happened was, what did they cut into? And this was before it was cachet or gitchy to have the breaking. They didn't know how to break in or cut or split screen or do what have you like they do now. They broke in and split screened the New York Knicks finals. The Knicks were in the finals. That was the last time, not the last time, but it was that they were playing the Houston Rockets. It was Game 7, and the Knicks were playing the Houston Rockets in the NBA Finals. So, not that I just find it interesting that now OJ is back in the news. Not for him a good reason. He passed away, and the Knicks are headed to the playoffs and with one of their best teams. So let's see what happens. I'm not sure why that has any relevancy, but otherwise. And they also, in other news, they sentenced that in that the shooting in that movie they were filming, Rust, the Alec Baldwin movie. I'm sure he's sitting at home going, first of all, this movie's a piece of crap. This was totally not worth it. Second of all, the woman who was the armor handler, she actually comes from a family of this. I didn't know. Her father is a longtime handler of armor on movie sets, and his daughter followed in his footsteps. Her name was Hannah Gutierrez Reed, and she was sentenced to 18 months. She got 18 months. And now Alec Baldwin's case is going to be next. Not, we'll see his trial, what have you. And I'm going to say he's obviously probably, if that even ever sees the inside of a courtroom, it'll be handled outside of it. I'm sure by the time it'll be washed and cleaned and put away. So I think this woman was made the example of this horrible incident, which somebody has to be responsible. I mean, somebody died. The director was also hurt. And, the woman, she was the cinematographer, Halen Hutchins. And, on sets, you have to twice, 3 times, 4 times, 7 times check when you're using any weaponry or anything like that. You don't want anybody to get hurt. And I still don't understand where live ammunition would get on a set. Like, what? It shouldn't be an either or. You don't need any. It shouldn't even be there where it would be a confusion or a mistake that could happen. I mean, why is there anything live ammunition in the first place? It's just a terrible thing. But she got sentenced to 18 months, and now Alec Baldwin's case will be next. And I just, you probably he's not gonna, whatever. We are not in the studio tonight, in case you were confused. This is not the studio. Unfortunately, my co-host, my compadre, my guy to my left, if you will, the Emster, Steve, was under the weather, as they say. He was feeling a bit under the weather, and he was not able to make it in today, so we did a quick revamp and a switcheroony. And so I'm going to come to you live, remote style. Hope that's okay with you. And we'll be back in the studio as soon as they find out what's wrong with Steve. There's a few scientists that are flying in from Germany. They're going to be doing some test tube testing. They'll be looking under a microscope. We're going to get to the bottom of this for Steve. We're going to find out what's wrong with him. Governor's expense. There is no expense. We're no expense paid. This is, we're all in. We want to find out what's going on with Steve, and no matter what we have to do, a GoFundMe page, we're gonna get to the bottom of what's wrong with Steve. I really hope so, because the show was fun to do with Steve, right? Be honest. You like the curmudgeon-y, grumpy Steve just as much as I do. I can't be curmudgeon-y and grumpy for both of us. I can only do that for myself. So this was kind of interesting. The Billy Joel concert they aired last night. It was the March 28th concert that CBS, and this is where the problem starts, CBS. When CBS is involved, or any of your major networks, that's where the problem starts. So CBS is going to air it last night, 9 to 11. I think it was 9 to 11 or something like that. 8 to 10, 9 to 11, whatever it was. So it's the 100th concert for this guy at Madison Square Garden. And Billy Joel is, it's the concert up from March 28th. So they obviously can't, they have to edit it and condense it a little bit because they're only going to air it for 2 hours. So they want to, edit it into a watchable concert form. So in CBS's grand fashion, the show was delayed, the airing, because they were sticking with the Masters golf tournament. Now, again, they drudged. This is another pet peeve of mine. This nonsense that they keep trying to get people to watch this mess, only for the fact. So they drag Tiger Woods out there again. This guy, he can't even walk. And they just please, just stand there and hit it. We don't care where it goes. We'll AI it that it looks like you hit it far. Just swing, for God's sake, Do one of those, imagine, the swing ones that you can go to in the cage. We'll just stand there. Please let us use your name so anybody can watch this. So the golf match is lasting long, so they start the Billy Joel concert after 9 o'clock. They start airing it late last night. And then what happens next? As it's getting to the end of the concert and the big finale, he's going to play Piano Man. It's big finale type of thing. Of course, they cut to the news because the news now is supposed to start. So they just cut. And of course, your maniac Billy Joel fans, which, you can imagine, they were mostly Long Islanders, and that's all I need to say. Long Islanders are insane to begin with. So they go irate, and they're calling it a Heidi incident, which, for those of you who don't know what that reference means, there was a Super Bowl game many moons ago. It was one of the first, if not the first, where the Giants, I think it was the Giants or the Jets, maybe the Jets, because the Jets were only in one. Let me see if I have that information. Anyway, let me see if I have it. Let me see. No. But they, in this Super Bowl game many years ago, it was like the first Super Bowl, like 1968, 69, it was the Jets or Giants, I believe it was the Giants. I think, and they were playing the Baltimore Colts, if I'm not mistaken. I wasn't born for this, but, somewhere rattling around in my recollection of useless trivia. The game goes into overtime. Enormously exciting. You would love this if you were someone that might be interested in ratings. But at the time, this is new television. They don't know. And, I guess they haven't gotten any better because 40, 50 years later, they're doing the same thing. They cut away from the overtime Super Bowl game to a production of Heidi. And left millions of insane football aficionados watching Heidi, girl with the Swiss Miss girl with the long blonde braids. And I like football, but who doesn't love Heidi? Anyway, this why they're touting that, they're dubbing it the Heidi 2. So they were so irate that CBS is going to rebroadcast it in its entirety. Hold on, I'll tell you when. I don't know when, but it will be broadcast in its entirety this week. So check your local listings for that. You don't want to miss that. You don't want to see. You want to see this guy singing Piano Man. If you haven't heard it 4,000 times in your lifetime, you want to see him sing it again. So you could tell I'm not a strong Billy Joel fan, but I thought the story was interesting and funny because anytime one of the major networks fouls up, I think it's very humorous because these are people that are supposed to get it right. You would think common sense, like everybody's waiting to see this. Like, this is a big event that we're putting on. Billy Joel's never had a concert on regular television. That's a huge thing. Maybe you want to cut away from a golf tournament nobody's watching, with names nobody's heard of. Tiger Woods is long gone. He finished like 100th place. They had to cart him out. He made his appearance. So, I'm sorry. It's just not something. And then you cut away for what? General news? Stupid. Stupid. It's just ridiculous anyway. See, you don't look too bad, right? There you go, Joel. Right there. Joel's first network TV special. What to expect? I'll tell you what to expect. Nothing, because they cut away. It says, marking another milestone, as it was recorded March 28th, blah, 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 blah. Unbelievable. When things go awry, they really go awry, I'll tell you. Oh my gosh, did you hear this? The Dollar Tree, look at this. If you haven't been irate enough about inflation, the Dollar Tree prices to reach $7. I don't know about you, but $7 is not a dollar. So it says, the CEO from the Dollar Tree says, we cannot continue with with charging people $1, or as it went to $1.25. We need to increase our prices to compete. Now, they'll still have items that are $1. Don't panic. You'll still get your expired canned hash. Will still be $1. That delicious Spam on the shelf will still be $1. But, they'll have some other products and things that they said might reach up as high as $7. So, the Dollar Tree is the Dollar Tree, and you made your bones on being what it is. So, either sustain... And I'm sick of this, because Planet Fitness is a perfect example. They charge $10 a month. There is no gym that charges $10 a month. All the other gyms charge anywhere from $30 to $50. I know. I'm in the gym industry. I'm in the business for many years. I know what all the gyms charge. Planet Fitness charges $10, $20 for the black card, which means you could bring a friend every time and get a lovely massage in the massage chair. But they've been able to sustain their model because of the quantity that they are able to reach. They're able to reach the masses, which is a dollar store, can reach the masses. And who goes into a dollar store and spends $1 anyway? When you go into a dollar store, you go crazy because everything's $1, so you're buying in volume. So you're walking out of there spending an enormous amount of money anyway. This is a cheap tactic to cry foul at inflation, and you can't compete. The Planet Fitness is doing it. They're not leveling their prices to other gyms. They're staying at the $10 price point because they know that's their gitch. They can undersell and over-deliver. You're the dollar store. Everything you sell is used. It's crap. It's dusty. Do you ever go in there? Ugh. I take a shower 5 minutes after I'm out of there. What a gross place that is. They have sometimes there's carpeting in there. What's carpeting is in this store? It's like moldy carpeting. Okay, you want to charge $7? Make it a $7 store. Fix it up a little bit. The lighting is dark and dingy. Nobody's working there. You can't find any help, so you don't have any overhead and anybody working there. There's usually one worker on. What are you crying about? I love these CEOs that are so out of touch with the world. This is just, oh boy. I would write your local politician here. Wow. I forget, it says here, there's about 55 Dollar Trees on Long Island alone. Yes. And they said they will still have some $1.25 things, like I said. So don't panic. Everybody's panicking. Let me tell you this was an interesting story, and I compare it, and stay with me on this. Okay. So this woman, this is a Nassau businesswoman. I'll show you a picture because she's in Newsday. What do I care? Nassau businesswoman. She's charged with fraud. What's new, right? Ho-hum. We're not shocked by this. She's accused of filing incorrect figures, cutting insurance, the whole nine, right? There's always this little fraud going on with businesses. Oh, and this is terrible. Wait, hold on a second. See, this is poor, and I just caught this, and I want to put it out there. If you saw this, and it says Nassau business owner charged with fraud, you would assume it's this woman. This is the district attorney. I just read. I was going to be like, I'm sorry, I'm showing you a picture. That's the DA. If I'm the DA, I'm furious. I'm like, you put my picture under a headline. Nobody knows I'm the DA. You know, I'm not Kim Kardashian. Nobody knows who the hell I am. Oh my God, that's so funny. I just read. I was like, is this the woman? Look, and she's got a face on that looks like she's being charged. No, she's the Nassau County DA, Ann Donnelly. The woman is Vasilios Handakos. She's of Garden City, a business owner. A little insurance fraud. Who hasn't had a little insurance fraud that totals, in the hundreds and hundreds of millions of thousands of dollars? Anyway. What is she facing? Let's see. She was arraigned, Nassau County, second degree insurance, third degree, failure to secure workers' comp, a whole slew of things. But it doesn't say was released. William and Bill. Okay, and Doctor was also known as William Handagis and Bill. Oh, okay, this is a guy. But it says Nassau. Okay. Was released on his own recognizance in order to return to court Wednesday. He faces 5 to 15 years. All right, so that's a pretty stiff penalty. 5 to 15 years in prison if convicted on the top charge. If convicted. And, they always do behind dealings. And if this guy sees through, 20 months or 10 months, it'll be a shock. And, they'll pass around some money. This is all just to pretend that they caught somebody. But let's be honest. This guy will see the inside of a white-collar prison where he'll be playing tennis. He'll be out. Okay. Now, here's a woman. This is why I'm making this point so you appreciate where you live. This woman, Tong Ma Lan, she was in court Thursday, but not in Nassau County, a little further east, South Vietnam. Actually, Vietnam. Doesn't say South. Oh, Ho Chi Minh City. Whoa. She was convicted she was a real estate tycoon, and she was in a large financial fraud scheme going on. You can see she does not look thrilled. I can show you her, and that is not the Vietnamese DA. That is her. That is Trong Mai Lan. If I'm saying that wrong, I'm sorry, Trong. 67 years old, and for her charges, she is now sentenced to death. That is correct. You can see that right there. Sentenced to death in fraud case. So my point, after that long-winded diatribe, is appreciate where you live, for God's sake. You get slaps on the wrist here. You want to curtail, deter, have one of those cases and tell me if the next person that's a real estate tycoon is going to fudge the numbers. I don't think so. No, sirree, Bobby. It's terrible. I mean, you never like to see somebody, whatever they're going to do to her. But I'm just saying, there's different punishments and different things. That's probably a little extreme, obviously. And here, it goes the other way. Sometimes they're just like, yeah, whatever. People pass money. My point is, appreciate living, even though you pay taxes and you're griping and you're upset and there's traffic and there's potholes and there's dollar stores that are now $7 stores and all of the rest. Gas prices going up through the roof. You can't get a good sandwich in the deli. You're waiting online for your cold cut. There's a lot to deal with. I understand. I go through it. You're still living in the greatest country in the world, right? Or at least top 5. Let's be honest. It's 7:05. Beautiful still outside. It's a lovely sunset. I'll probably watch a little of the Yankee game, maybe. They've been doing pretty well, I have to say. This is a story. Do I want to look at that story? Oh! Nah, I don't know about this story. You know what? Let's read one. Let me see what I want to do next. Give me a moment. Give me a moment, if you will. Did you know the guy that discovered the Verrazano Bridge is this Wednesday is the 500th anniversary of him discovering Verrazano Bay, which is where they brought. I had his name here somewhere. Obviously, it's Verrazano, but he's got a first name. I think his first name is Tony. Tony Verrazano. He was the boss of the Verrazano crime family. No. Now I just stepped all over this guy's legacy. This great man. Still doesn't. Oh, of course it's Giovanni. They're always Giovanni. It's just Giovanni di Verrazano. Everybody's Giovanni that came here and did something. That's interesting. It's this week is the 500th anniversary that Giovanni di Verrazano invented traffic on the Verrazano Bridge. No. He came into Verrazano Bay. Well, it's named after him. And that's where they built the bridge, and of course where they start the New York City Marathon. I've run across that. It's probably needs a little reinforcement, but it's nevertheless a historical site, landmark. And they say, some of the representatives, some of the politicians say they should have a toll-free day. They shouldn't pay tolls that day on that bridge, which I'm sure everybody's happy about, except for the MTA, who says no way. They were the same people trying to hike up the marathoners for closing it on Marathon Day. So that's not going to fly. It's not going to fly. I'm sorry. This is a shame. Rite Aids are closing. Remember I told you Sam Ash's were closing music stores? Now it's Rite Aids are closing. This is terrible. Now Rite Aids are going... who knows what's next? I mean, what's next? The International House of Pancake, for God's sake? Just take everything away from us. Rite Aids are closing. I mean, the Trouble chain is closing 53 more stores. Rite Aids are on their way out. These are institutional landmarks. But you know why they're closing? I'm going to tell you why these drugstores are closing. Because I noticed this flyer, drug take-back event. This sounds like a lot of fun. I probably will ask Steve if he's free this day to go to this. This sounds like an awful lot of fun. Drug take-back event, Saturday, April 27th. Any of your unused drugs that you have in your house, you can turn in for, I don't know what you're getting, for safe disposal. Ha ha, wink, wink, safe disposal. Yeah, you give it. Yeah, just bring all your unused drugs. I'll take care of it for you. I'll dispose of it. Don't worry. Put it right in the bin. No, don't throw it out. It's going to be a special take-back drug day. Who am I? Don't worry that. Don't worry. That's not for you to know. It's for me to find out. So, this so-and-so, you can even, yeah, it says syringes will be accepted. Fantastic. So if you have a syringe lying around the house, maybe you have a couple of pounds of crack that you didn't finish for the holidays, bring it on down to this event. They're accepting it. It's at the high school. What better place to have a drug take-back event than at the local high school? Have some of the kids volunteer. Bobby, no, that's going to go in the... No, don't be snorting that line. All right, anyway, thank you. Next. What is wrong with people? What is wrong with people? Do something nice like this. Dog Appreciation Month. Who doesn't appreciate a dog? You love your dog, right? Oh my God, who doesn't love... Dog Appreciation Month, it should be Dog Appreciation Year. You gotta love your dog, love your pet. And what April is Dog Appreciation Month, bring a photo in of your dog. And they'll create a beautiful work of art featuring your pet. It's grade 6 through 12, so it's not going to be Picasso looking, but bring it in anyway. The kids will love this. April 5th, it's today! It's right now! Oh my God, what are you doing watching the Steve Squared Show? This is today, April 15th at 7 p.m. This is going on right now. Quickly, pause the show, grab your dog, race down to the library. Well, you know what? Wait the 15 minutes. The show's almost over. They'll still be there. It doesn't say when it's ending. I mean, 6th graders stay up late anyway. I stayed up very late when I was in 6th grade. So, this is going to be fantastic. Which library is this at? It doesn't say. I'm going to guess. I don't... could be Central, could be the Bar Harbor. I'm going to think Central, but it doesn't... Yeah, it doesn't really say. This is poor... Unless it's at both. April is... It says bring in a photo... Oh, bring in a photo of your dog. Don't bring in your actual dog to sit for the... to sit for the kids to draw it. I'm sorry. Bring in a photo of your dog. Oh, okay. So little Skippy has to stay home. I thought it would have been better if they actually brought the dog in, right? Bring in your dog. Yeah, that probably would have not worked. So bring in a picture of your pet, and the kids will sketch it. It'll be beautiful. Oh boy, Dog Appreciation Month. Woof. Anyway, I'm sorry to hear about Rite Aid. It's terrible. Now I'm gonna have to get my drugs at the Massapequa High School. What else am I gonna get? My Libabol. My now you can't get it at Rite Aid. I don't want to go to CVS. My choices are getting limited. I have to wait till drug take-back day, April whatever. So Little Miss Barbie, Margot Robbie. We all know Margot Robbie. Who doesn't love Margot Robbie? One of my favorite actresses. I loved her in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood with Leonardo DiCaprio and Brad Pitt. She played Sharon Tate. She was wonderful. Quentin Tarantino flick. Very good movie. If you haven't seen it, I suggest you watch it. She was in Barbie. She played Barbie. And she is now matched up with Lionsgate and Hasbro and is works for the movie about Monopoly, which I'm not really sure how this will work, but yes, she is going to be. Let me see what it says here. Robbie is making Monopoly movie. Another toy movie. Her production company, and I believe I don't know who she's going to play. She'll probably play the railroad man, the conductor with the hat, the Monopoly guy with the glasses and the mustache. No, I don't know who she'd play. What was your favorite piece in Monopoly? Do you remember? Without a doubt, I could tell you right off the bat, I had to be the car. I love the car. I don't know why. The car was my go-to piece. Do you remember who your go-to piece was? And I'll tell you, I know everybody wanted Boardwalk and Park Place because those were the rich real estate. I liked your Marvin Gardens. I liked your Baltic Avenues. I liked to build up quantities so you were always landing. I didn't want to just have Boardwalk and Park Place, spend all my hotel money on that, and you just have those two. But if you don't land on those two, you're not making money. So I would buy the yellows, the greens, the Atlantic Avenues, buy your railroads. I spread my wealth around. I should have been an investor. Very smart. I don't. Monopoly is such a long game. I like it. It's just, boy, you gotta like the person you're playing with because that's a long game. I don't have that kind of patience. It seems just long. Anyway, she's going to be making this movie, and it seems like everybody's making these fluffy movies. Jerry Seinfeld's movie's coming out May. Unfrosted, which is the story of, it's the cereal wars with Kellogg's and Post, and it's called Unfrosted. It's about Pop-Tarts and all of the rest. So Melissa McCarthy's in it. Who else is in it? Melissa McCarthy. It's a good cast. I think Jerry Seinfeld's directing it. He's not in it, I don't believe. But that's coming out in May. Don't quote me, it might be May 3rd, but I'm not sure. Who knows? Who knows? I don't know. I don't know. Anyway, let's take a break from all the news, right? It's just so much news. It's just bombarded with news. News. Oh, there's an actor that I love, and I liked, how I always like to give you guys an actor to look up and to watch some material on and introduce you to new actors. Not new to you, not to me, and not to the world, because they are already established actors. But Patton Oswalt, and I'm sure many of you know who that is. He's a comedian, but he's great in sitcoms. He's in everything. He's in the new Ghostbusters Frozen Empire movie that just came out. He's so good in anything he does. He, obviously, most of you might have known him. He played Spence in The King of Queens. From all those seasons, he was so great in that. I loved him, and he was, the devilish guy in Mystery Science Theater 3000, which was one of my favorite sci-fi shows on the Sci-Fi Network. He was in Parks and Rec for many seasons. Rick and Morty. He was the voice in BoJack Horseman. He was Pinky Penguin. BoJack Horseman is a show you should definitely watch. It's animated, but it's part animated, part human. It's just fabulously done. It's done by Bob Waxberg, is the creator. Bob Raphael Waxberg, a wonderful writer, creator, and he made the show called BoJack Horseman about a horse that was famous in the 90s for a show called Horsing Around. And now he's in LA, and he's an alcoholic. He's drinking, and he's trying to navigate, but he's like a horse, you know, and he's trying to get back into the world, back into the showbiz, you know. Very funny show. It's called BoJack Horseman. Anyway, so Patton Oswalt, look him up. He's got comedy specials on Netflix. He's got one that just came out last year. He's very, very good. And if you go see Ghostbusters, he's in, I believe he's playing, like a scientist in Ghostbusters or something like that. He's very, it's funny. So, that is my featured actor to give you. And here, Sunday, April 29th, I'm just giving you guys some information. Sunday, April 29th on CNN? Maybe CNN, I'm not sure. How the sinking of the Titanic really happened. How did it really happen? They ran out of gas. We know how it happened. They hit a giant piece of ice and sunk. And Kate Winslet didn't share her board with Leonardo DiCaprio. We know how it went down. Why do we need to another show? Why is people's fixation with the Titanic, for God's sake? How it really happened? I mean, it was a tragedy. Why do we want to dig this up and look at it so many times? It's terrible. You go on a cruise, all of a sudden you're in the bottom of the Atlantic, freezing. You know, nobody got their money back. It's terrible. Anyway, let's read a Dear Somebody, shall we? Let me find you a good dear. I don't know if I like that one. Do I like that one? I thought I had a good one for you. Let me see, hold on. I know I had a good one. Oh, here it is. This looks pretty good. Let's do this one. I was able to find it. Yay for me. Okay, here we go. My wife is an avid runner and usually runs on the weekends. This has already got trouble written all over it when the wife is running away. She's an avid runner, runs on the weekends with a group of regulars. Recently, a man entered the group. What is this all about? And he seems to be reaching out to her a lot. This started with questions about running, but seems to have morphed into other areas, like sneakers and socks. Weird. He always initiates texts, and she responds politely by answering. She's completely open, shows me everything, often brings up to him that she has plans this weekend with her husband and kids, just to subtly lay the groundwork that she is not for sale. He then glosses right over this information and basically seems to pretend that I don't exist. I am not at all concerned about my wife's behavior. You probably should be. But I'm a guy, she's amazing, and I have a weird sense about this. I'm not sure how to approach this weirdness. Do you have a suggestion? I do. Let me handle this, Amy. This is what you do. It's very simple. You make a phone call. Don't use your real voice. Use one of those vibrating things that change your voice. You can get it at the dollar store, which is now $7. And what you do is you, maybe just somehow have him be visited by two guys with, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying. He won't be running anymore. You can give it, you don't have to wipe him out. You just let him have a message. You like running? Or do you like, maybe you want to run your next race with crutches, huh? Huh? One of these. That's how you handle it. That's how you get things done in this world. You do it what they doing over there in another country, where they're taking that insurance fraud lady and they're hanging her by her fingernails. That's how you get it done, ladies and gentlemen. Anyway, 7:21. You could still get over to the library and get your dog drawn, if you so inclined. They had this article, and this is. Do I care about this enough to talk to you about it? Maybe. It's not a big story, but I don't have a lot. There wasn't a lot in the news. There wasn't a lot of stuff going on. Oh my gosh. I almost had a new segment for my show. I was at the house. My mom is watching, she tells me I DVR'd Gone with the Wind. So I'm like, oh, and I said, and they say, it's on the Turner Classic Movie channels, and they start with the narration, and they say the wonderfully depicted film, the legendary Clark Gable and Vivian Leigh, two wonderful actors. But I said, Olivia de Havilland was in that movie too. I mean, no love for Olivia de Havilland? Are you kidding? She was, I know she didn't play Scarlett O'Hara, but she was, Melanie, which was another pivotal role. Anyway, so I said to my mom, and this shows you how up I am on 1930s actors. I said, didn't Vivian Leigh have a nervous breakdown? Didn't she? My mom said yes. And, she was amazed that I knew that. I said, I know these things. I like to keep abreast of people that have nervous breakdowns. Just so I can, when mine happens, I can say, look, Vivian Leigh did, and a lot of other famous people. Or they could say, Steve, did you know Steve from the Steve Squared Show? He had a nervous breakdown. It adds a little cachet. If you're a celebrity, you're eccentric if you have a nervous breakdown. If you're an ordinary person, they just put you over at South Oaks on Sunrise Highway. But what are you going to do? Anyway, I'm digressing. So then I was just hitting them out of the ballpark. I like impressing, My mom's amazed. She was like, "Wow, you knew that." And then I said, and you know who directed this movie? The same director, Victor Fleming, that we know, who directed The Wizard of Oz. And there was a couple of other things there. There was a character actor that was Uncle Billy in It's a Wonderful Life that's also in this. So, those actors, there was maybe 5 of them. They all had... And this, my mom was also saying, wasn't this movie in black and white? I said, no, this was one of the first Technicolor movies. Wizard of Oz was before. Gone with the Wind was 1939. Wizard of Oz was years before it was in color. That's when they introduced Technicolor, the amazing Technicolor. The only problem was everybody's hair was red. They didn't really have levels of color. It was just red. It was just shades of red. So it was funny because, they're all talking to Scarlett O'Hara and they all have their southern drawl, and they're talking to her and they all have this painted red. It was just terrible. It's just terrible. We've come so far with AI. Now you don't even need actors. You just green screen everything. We'll fill it in later. Don't worry about it. We've taken away acting and actors. Good for you. Only took less than 100 years to wipe away one of the greatest creative passions of many of us. The world of acting and writing. Don't worry about it. We'll take care of it on the computer. No problem. They don't make big epic movies like that. Those were really long movies with an overture. They were 3.5, 4 hours. But it was an event. People loved it. Now, now they go overboard. You either have these long movies, whether it's Peter Jackson or James Cameron, or you get the Blumhouse movies, which are quick. They're over in like an hour. Which Blumhouse is putting out a new Blair Witch. Everybody's got to remake things. Just make something original. Stop remaking things. Come up with your own ideas, for God's sake. You know what? I'm going to do another series. I think I'll call it The Odd Couple. It'll be about 2 people living together. Whoa, that's original. Can't you think of something original? No? Especially Blumhouse. They're such a joke. They redid Fantasy Island. They are the dollar store, speaking of dollar stores, of movie making. They make crap at discount prices, but you still pay $17 or $15 at the theater. So when you see a Blumhouse movie, just understand they're making that movie for dimes. Dimes, I tell you. I was going to do this story about John Gotti Jr.'s wife and the daughter. I don't know. I might stay away from that. There was a little skirmish happened. But it was about the daughter who played basketball, and it's a whole thing. But thinking at best, I like to stay in one piece. And who knows who's watching the show? I mean, I tell you this all the time. I'm a big fan. Many people watch the Steve Squared show. All kinds of people. Horticulturists, optometrists, mobsters. People from all over the world. So I don't know who's watching right now that could take offense to something I might. So why don't we give you a fluff story? They were talking about how much the prom is costing. It's costing people enormous amounts of money. It's saying that the dudes, the guys, they're paying anywhere from, they have to get, now it's because of social media, it's about upping the previous person. You need bus transportation, $165. Yeah, right, if they're lucky. A ticket to the prom, $125. After prom, $80. I guess it depends what you're doing, but most people make the after prom a whole, right, Megillah. Tux rentals, incidentals, and all the rest. Could be $600 to $800 for a guy, which I believe it's probably more. But for the women, for the girls, they're buying these dresses at these couture places that are made for them, and these dress people on Long Island are all too willing to just take these families for every dime they have, because they know they have the girl comes in, the mother, a Long Island mom, with the girl, they don't want to be outdone, so they flash the credit cards around and all of the rest. And, they want their girl to, you're going to look the best at the prom. And if you don't, just smack that other one right in the face. And, and they're usually Oyster Bay, Manhasset. It's always from these stupid, silly things. But they're saying that proms are really going through the roof. And unfortunately, so this is how I tie everything together. I like to tie things and put a bow around it. The dollar store needs to get into the prom business. You start renting tuxedos for $1. Boom. That's how you solve the problem. Now the dollar store can go back to business. Doesn't have to go up to $7. Well, you sell $7. I'll even say sell $7 tuxedos. Rent them. Maybe. I don't know. I'm just spitballing. I don't have the answers to all your problems. But they do have other stores that have fashionable and free to defray the cost. There's organizations where you could go. Project Prom Papa in Huntington. It's a place in Huntington, and you could get maybe it's slightly used, because there's nothing you want more than a slightly used dress or tuxedo from some drunk kids from 3 high school years ago. That's what you want to wear to your prom. Just some stained, used, and you'll have that prom picture will look beautiful when you're hugging your date proudly with a dirty stain on the lapel from the graduating class of 1998. Come on. This is ridiculous. It's ridiculous. It's just terrible. There was, I did, on a more serious note, I always like to, if you're, for how to help Long Island's hungry, we always want to talk about that. So when you are donating food, definitely the Harry Chapin Food Bank is one of the top food banks that you want to donate to. So they're doing that right now. And they do that all the time. And it's Long Island Cares, which is a great program that really is the major program on Long Island. Harry Chapin, of course, the great singer who passed away. But he not only great music, but his charitable work and leaves that legacy where he's really involved in feeding Long Island and creating food banks, which now part of Long Island Cares. You can always donate to canned goods, and try to end on a more positive note without 59 minutes of my disgruntled, angered bitterness towards the IRS, the mafia, drug cartels, Vietnamese prisons, and all the rest. Boy, we touched on a lot of things today. And Billy Joel, who fits right in the middle somewhere on that spectrum. We definitely touched on a lot. And hopefully you've learned something. Probably not. I told you how to avoid IRS scams. I told you that you can rewatch the Billy Joel concert in its entirety, or at least watch him sing Piano Man over and over again. The Knicks will be playing this weekend. We'll see how they start next Monday. We will be back in the studio. We'll see how everything shakes down and works out. I'll be posting that on my Instagram, Stephen R. Kaminsky. Again, I'm going to put some new dumbbells. I always like to flash the dumbbell shirt. Put some new dumbbells material up there for you. And you see, so you didn't think I was lying. I don't like you guys to call me a liar. Hold on one second. You see, I don't throw things away. I still have Kermit with me. And with leafless or not, Kermit stays right by my side. Anyway, now I have to hold the ring light. You see, I need more production on this thing here. Anyway, you still have time. Maybe run down to the library with a picture of your dog, and I think that's a cute thing. But don't bring your used drugs there. The library is for a picture of your dog. The high school, gather all your drugs, head down to the high school, see what you can get for it. I'll do that. Anyway, for myself, for Kermit, hope Steve's doing better. We always want to wish out to Steve and Tony and all the rest of the people at Governor's Comedy Club for sponsoring our show and being a great supporter of the Steve Squared Show. And for all of you for watching, thank you so much. Have a wonderful, safe week. Don't get audited. Take my tax advice. And enjoy the week. And we'll see you next Monday on